conducted in 2017 determined that children under the age of 12 should be given a maturity test to confirm that they could find their parents after separation. But that warning was ignored. As memos indicate, the administration extended the policy months later without a plan to reunite families. Quote, instead, it was expected children would see their parents again when both were deported to their home countries. Now, we know because of a draft Inspector General report, the Justice Department was the driving force behind the policy, as then Attorney General Jeff Sessions said, quote, we need to take away children. Joining me now, NBC's Jacob Soboroff. He's done extensive reporting on this topic. He's the author of the New York Times best-selling book, Separated, Inside an American Tragedy. Good morning, Jacob. Thank you for getting up so early to be with us. I just have to ask you about this pilot program. 303 families were separated. Those separated included 11 children under the age of 1, 22 who were 1, and 28 who were 2 years old. I don't know what to say about this. You know much more about this than most of us do, and you knew it ahead of time. What was the point of this?
To inflict torture, in the words of Physicians for Human Rights, on these families so that they wouldn't come to the United States in the future. Families like them wouldn't come to the United States in the future. Obviously, the administration has long disputed that, but now more than ever, both from the memo from this draft DOJ Inspector General report that we obtained at NBC News and also the bombshell reporting from the New York Times earlier in the week, I mean, it makes clearer than ever before that they knew exactly what they were doing. Not only did the Department of Justice know exactly what they were doing, but as I report in my book, we had career officials at Homeland Security and at Health and Human Services also warned their Trump-appointed superiors that this would damage children for a lifetime, yet they move forward with the policy, Elliot.
I want to ask you what happens now. We know what happened. I was pleased to read in your book that HHS and DHS career officials pushed back on the government. It used to be what I thought worked about government, that career people would tell political people when something wasn't right. It didn't work this time. So if the political people prevailed last time, what happens if Donald Trump wins again?
Well, number one, Donald Trump has already said, as I also report in the book, that he wants to restart separations. On Marine One, he told Kirstjen Nielsen on the way to survey tornado damage that he wanted to bring it back. That's what he was literally thinking about. You know, we obviously have an election on our hands right now. Donald Trump is pretty clear. What's Joe Biden going to do about this practice? What's he going to do about indefinite detention of families in ICE detention right now? What's he going to do about the expulsion of the children that are being pushed back into Mexico literally as we speak? And then what are they going to do about solutions we know exist? I went to Guatemala. The World Food Program yesterday won the Nobel Peace Prize for its work combating hunger. We know that hunger, climate change, food insecurity, malnutrition are one of the biggest sending factors from countries like Guatemala. I went and saw it with my own eyes. The Trump administration defunded aid that helps there. I mean, this election could not be more consequential. I know it feels like family separations are in the past, but what's happening now, immigration attorneys, activists, people who are along the border as we speak, say it's arguably worse now than it ever has been before, Elliot.
But, you know, here's the thing. While it sounds like immigration policy, every country that is up against a neighboring country that is poor or impoverished or has civil war or a lack of food understands what immigration policy looks like. And that means helping that country be less unstable. Politically, we should be concentrating on these Central American countries and creating a world in which not everybody wants to leave and come to America, because that's the natural flow of humanity.
Instead, the Trump administration did the exact opposite. They doubled down on a deterrence immigration policy based on punishment that's been developed, quite frankly, over decades, starting with the Clinton administration, going into the Bush administration with the creation of DHS, the Obama administration, obviously deported more people than anybody before and built up facilities with the cages, but nobody ever did what Donald Trump did, which is systematically torture or engage in government-sanctioned child abuse, according to the American Academy of Pediatrics, just in order to scare families from coming. It's never worked before to scare people away from the United States. It's currently not working with the administration's policies, and that's why, obviously, this campaign is about figuring out what a new way forward is.
Jacob, the world will thank you and Julia Ainsley and your colleagues who wrote the first draft of this history for us. Jacob is the author of the New York Times bestseller, Separated: Inside an American Tragedy. If you know anybody who's still not sure how they're voting in this election, express this book to them and let them read it. Coming up in the next hour, I'm joined by Senator Bernie Sanders. I'll ask the former 2020 presidential candidate about the president's expensive trip to Walter Reed Medical Center, new details on Trump's taxes, and what's going on with the stalled relief bill in Congress. Stay with us. Velshi continues after the break.